how things went at home on Thursday to open up against Southern. I had really a very good crowd out. We were super grateful for all the people that came out to observe and to participate in our home opener and to create a great environment for our girls to be able to play in. As we talked to the seniors before that match, they've only got 4 home openers in their career. And so what they do to capitalize on that from an opportunity standpoint is, I'm just going to send that to voicemail. What we do with those opportunities is super, super important, and I thought they came out and took the opportunity well. They played well. We had the ball a lot. We shared the ball. We were purposeful with the ball. We found the back of the net fairly early. Didn't really execute some later in the half, but came in the second half and had 2 quick, good goals and had many more chances. Their goalkeeper came up and made a few really good saves against us, and I thought at that point could have been 5 by the end of it. But credit to the goalkeeper and credit to their defensive organization for giving us some resistance in that regard. Building off of home opener, going away to Sam Houston State, we knew it was going to be a difficult match. It's Sunday afternoon, probably 120-degree surface temperature, blazing hot, and it's a small field, bit of a postage stamp. It's about 108 maybe by 70, so not a lot of space to maneuver, and turf. Also a game last year that had a little bit of extracurriculars, and so I knew the players were focused on that, and what we told them before the game is let's not be petty, let's not be concerned with what happened last year. Let's make sure that we're prepared to manage the day, and come out early, be disciplined, be purposeful, and be focused. And they did a good job with that. Got on the board fairly early again in that match with some phenomenal combination play right at the edge of the box, something we spent some time working on this week in training, so it was good to see that materialize for us in match play. It went into halftime 1-0. We're happy about that. And right after the water break, the required water break, conceded, went 1-1 with them. We had a little bit of a mental lapse defensively and allowed them some space, and they buried really a good finish from the top of the box. So at that point now, what's our fortitude? How are we going to manage and respond to that situation? And obviously, you guys saw the result. Second overtime on a short field, Mackenzie Lee was able to get through a punt straight up the middle of the park, and Carlene Beedry was able to go get on the end of it. I think she's sitting on 3 goals now. Someone that I've mentioned before is a player who's going to be able to bring some real quality for us in the attacking third. She didn't, by all accounts, really have a phenomenal game, and we talked about that before we put her back in a late substitution. Just said, there's more in you. We've got more in you. You've got a greater capacity. We need the rest of that capacity. And then she went in and proceeded to win us the game in the 103rd or 104th minute, whatever it was. But overall, a fantastic week. We're super, super pleased with where we are, but we know we still have a long, long way to go. We can't continue to let teams back into games when we're sitting in position to win games. That just creates so many problems and so many complications, especially with how many games we've had to play on the road. It's difficult to win on the road anyway, and when you gift goals away in positions where you've already worked hard to put yourself with an opportunity to win, it just creates complication. And we did that yesterday, but I was proud of how they returned into the overtime periods with that focus and ultimately got the result.
Open for questions.
6 corners yesterday. I think you had 12 on Thursday against Southern. What's kind of been the key to getting those set pieces, in the other end?
Just putting pressure on the opposition and having some confidence when we go forward, expecting that we have the ability to score goals. Let's get numbers in and around the 18-yard box. Let's get on the end of services. Let's at least challenge for those things. What we have to do, so the stat you don't have is how many goals we've scored off of corners, and I think maybe 1. So we're getting lots of opportunity to get free services into the 6-yard box, not into the 18-yard box, but into the 6-yard box. Free service, we have to capitalize on those more frequently, and we have to work on it more. We've got to be a little bit more deliberate about that. It's one of those things where it's easy to minimize the time that you're working on set pieces, but it's such an important part of the game, especially in close matches. We've got to be able to capitalize on those opportunities a little bit more, continue to put pressure on the goalkeeper is sitting inside her 6-yard box, inside the mouth of the goal with 15 players around her. She's penned, right? We just, and it's our free service to go get on the end of, and so we just have to be a little bit sharper, I think, with that. But I'm very happy that we're getting those opportunities. We just have to be more opportunistic with them.
Coach, I know you're pretty happy about the wins, but what can your team do to continue getting better?
The big thing for us is, and I kept telling them yesterday, is discipline, right? We're up 1-0. We've gone up 1-0. What does our discipline look like, and how does that manifest within our shape? How does that take shape within our team and the decisions that we're making, both on and off the ball? Are we organized when we don't have the ball? Are we organized when we do have the ball? And so it's easy, especially on a match like yesterday. I mean, it was really, really hot yesterday. It's easy for the mental capacity to start to diminish, and then the physical capacity diminishes, and then now you're starting to give them free spaces to run at you through. So discipline, I think, is one of the big factors right now, in particular with our defensive organization. Going forward, we have to take care of the ball. We're still too often giving possession away, what I would consider to be too easily in the middle third of the field. So we have it, we're keeping it, we're trying to build, and then just a loss of concentration, and we've given the ball away. That's a counterattack now going the opposite direction, and now players are having to run 50 yards to recover. You can't continue to do that. We just have to take care of the ball, in particular in the middle third of the field.
Coach, talk a little bit about, for you, being kind of in control now of this program. Are there things you didn't expect at this point, or things popping up that you're like, hey, this happens as a coach, I got to deal with as a head man now, I'm having to deal with. Is there anything like that you didn't expect, or maybe something you did?
I wasn't, you're coming in brand new. You inherit a roster, you inherit a schedule, you inherit an environment, and I kind of look at it from this standpoint. Anyone can coach their own players, but a challenge is to coach somebody else's players. So the recruited players that are in our roster, we have to make them ours, right? We've got to take ownership of this opportunity and this situation, and that's been a pretty seamless transition. The girls have been phenomenal in terms of their responsiveness to what we're asking them to do. We're demanding a high level of standard and high expectation of them. We're expecting them to walk out on the field with the expectation that they're not going to walk off with anything but a positive result. And shifting the mindset a little bit, and their willingness to shifting mindset's not easy to do, right? I mean, you can go to the library and get 1 million self-help books, right? And you can read it, but it doesn't do anything for you unless you know how to apply it. So the shift of mindset that they've shown up to this point, and a great example of that was yesterday, and really a great example of that was the Friday before at NIU, when you're up 2-0 and then all of a sudden you're down 3-2. Right, that could have been very easy to just walk off and bag it and say, we'll get the next one. But they're battling and they're fighting and trying to be productive and trying to be competitive in everything that they do. And I've been grateful for that, because if you get a lot of resistance in that situation, you got a big problem. But they've been great in that regard. So I've been super grateful for them in terms of how they've approached the transition. And at the end of the day, it's a competitive environment, right? We love them just like they're ours. We're going to take care of them. We're going to do everything we can to be of service to them and make sure that the experience that they have while they're on this campus in this program is the very best it can be, so that they feel it's one that we're facilitating where they can really thrive in all that they do, not just on the field. However, there is the on the field element, and so we want to be competitive. I think them kind of on the end of 3 games in a row where they've gotten the right result, and if you want to go back to the draw and you get a point on the road, that's a result oftentimes too. So really 4 matches in a row where they've been able to come off with an element of feeling they've got the result that they went out for, is a tribute to them. Right? It's a tribute to the attitude that they've taken and the willingness and the effort that they've put in to go out and compete every day. You don't show up and go down 3-2 and then fight back to get a point on the road if you're not competing every day in training. And they've done that. And they've done everything that we've asked them to do. I'm just so proud of them.
And I just I see the hat 36. I don't know if anybody's ever asked you about it, or can you just talk about, Tim Leger had one on the other day at the Mississippi State game. I know a lot of you guys have those. Talk about why you guys are wearing that and what that's.
Yeah, I think anyone that's from this area knows what it's in reference to, and I just wish I'd gotten here earlier because I didn't get nearly enough time with Coach Robe. Babs reached out to me last week and said, "Hey, I've got something for you. Swing by the office. I want to give you something." And I didn't get by that week, but I got by the next week, and he took me over and handed it to me. And I asked him, I said, "Do you mind if I wear it tonight?" This was Thursday prior to Southern. I said, "Do you mind if I wear it tonight? I'd like to honor Coach Robe and his legacy and all that he stood for and what he means to this place and what he's meant to me." And just a handful of conversations that I was fortunate to have with him. We can look about what we didn't get with him, but I'm just grateful for the time that I did get with him. And so every chance I get to honor him and honor his legacy and what he means to not just Lafayette, not just University of Louisiana, but what he means to the inner workings of this place and what that legacy will continue to be. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have been given the hat by the baseball staff so I can go out and do everything I can to honor him and hopefully have our program embody those same characteristics and traits that he stood for and that our baseball program has stood for and been so successful with for so long.